Yeah,
Let's
we'll
talk a
talk
little
baseball.
baseball. The
We'll hit
Thursday
on.
through Saturday series. You like that?
I love that, but we'll talk for just a minute. I mean, very briefly about this one right here. And I want to start off by saying,
I don't want to talk about this. No, I don't want to talk about it.
Vols fans, do not freak out about a
No, I
loss
am
to
freaking out.
ETSU in the
Stop
midweek.
Stop talking to me like that. I will freak out if I want to. This was unacceptable. This was expected, and that's why it's unacceptable. ETSU for the last 3 years has been giving us fits, bro. And you go in undefeated, 20-0, and you're freaking going to do this? Come on, man. Now, there's two sides to every story. Actually, my little heart was actually pretty, I was kind of like, I was proud of ETSU for the way they fought and the way they got that win and the way they acted after they won, because that's a core memory as a baseball guy that played at UT Southern, not long, but I was there, to get a win over a Division I number 1 ranked team. Like, that is a core memory those guys are going to have for the rest of their life. For Tennessee, you're right. Doesn't really alter anything as far as their wants or needs, but it's just more of the fact that, like, what I was afraid of freaking happened, and that's allowing one loss turn into two. Because just as much as I do, in baseball, they can count up quick. And but no, I think you're 100% right. As far as the grand scheme of things, this wasn't a big deal. I mean, I wish the bats would have been there a little bit better, but you got to credit ETSU, man. They were throwing their best of the best on a Tuesday night, making sure they tried to shut our offense down, and they did, man. They did a great job.
And that's why I'm not worried about it, because
We didn't pitch our best of the
what
best.
Tennessee does in the midweek is literally just getting some of your younger
Muscle
guys
memory, man.
reps.
Well, that and staying in the motion of playing the games, right? So coming out of high school, you're only playing 25 games maybe in a season. And so you go into college and you're playing a 3-game series every weekend on top of playing the midweek. You're playing 4 games a week, right? So, and you're doing that for what 15, 16, 17 weeks. So, I think, yes, a midweek game, I'm not going to deem it meaningless.
No, it's definitely not meaningless.
But definitely not something where you want to waste, throwing Nate Snead out there to shut him out when you really need him for the games that truly matter in the SEC standings. But, and as far as the grand scheme of things, you would have loved to have been able to go into Alabama 21-0. But like I said, this was a in-state rivalry. ETSU took this one. I mean, this was legitimately their Super Bowl, and I think even they would say that. And they won it. So you got to give credit where credit's due, man. They that home run in the 10th was insane, and the raw emotion from that team when they hit it. I at that point was like, you know what? I've seen some Tennessee magic before, but I don't want to use it on this game. Let's let these boys have this one. I was proud of them.
Exactly. But I mean, ultimately, this is a game where you're trying to, especially the pitching staff, get your young guys work. You're not going to throw your best guys. If you win, great. Just another notch in the belt. If not, okay, build off of that.
Yeah.
And Tennessee built off of that. Now, granted, moving over to game 1 here, you drop a heartbreaker here, 6-5 to Alabama. So close to coming back in this one, but you really played well in this game. It was just that 5 spot in a second inning that you don't expect. You don't expect Liam Doyle to give up 5 runs in an inning. And you know what? He settled down afterwards and still had a fantastic outing.
I've heard it from so many fans. They were like, why was he even still in the game? And I was like, well, you look at it. I mean, it wasn't all him. I mean, he was filling it up for the most part. Sure, he walked in a couple, but like, for the most part, our defense, and I've said this over and over and over again, we got to step it up on defense, man. We got to help our pitchers out. I felt like they kind of let Liam Doyle down a little bit. Liam Doyle tried to shake it off. Overall, I didn't feel like Liam Doyle should come out. Now, obviously, a 5 spot in an inning ain't great, but I still think because of his pitch count, because how great he was doing in the other innings, I still think he went, 4 and 2/3, or maybe even went 5 innings of work.
Liam Doyle went 6 innings in this game.
He went 6 innings, right on. I mean, that's my point, though. It's like the dude, because he threw like 109 pitches, which I was kind of surprised about. But in the 6th inning was probably his best inning, where he went 1, 2, 3. I think it was only like a 9-pitch inning too. No, I mean, I think defense let us down a little bit. Liam Doyle did go through a little struggle, but I think it was good for Tony V to leave him out there and face that adversity for the first time, honestly, all season. And I'm not going to say he handled it well, but I think it was a good experience that he went through to be able to work out of it and then really lock in for the final, 3-4 innings that he went out there. So,
Yeah, and in this game, I mean, Tennessee started off hot. You get 2 runs in the first inning and then 1 in the second, and one of those, an Andrew Fisher absolute
Nuke.
moonshot. I mean, that ball was crushed. There's still people on Twitter saying, "I don't think that ball has landed yet." I don't think it
No.
has either. And then the little just stop and stare that he did before he started rounding it, he knew that it was gone. He had to admire it for a minute.
Yeah, he had to call Elon Musk, be like, "Hey, we need an emergency.
Yeah.
We got to go retrieve that ball from space. We need to send somebody up there." No, I'm joking. But yeah, he hit an absolute nuke. The offense looked stagnant in the middle innings, but man, I mean, Tennessee doing what they did all weekend long, which is get out to an early lead. And then it's just how do you handle it? Alabama's a great team. All right,
They are. They're a very good team.
they got a great offense. They got it's not a freshman, but that LeBron kid is
Yeah.
insane. He might be a sophomore. I don't know. He's really good. A very hard out. And then Tennessee, like I said, playing Florida and then Alabama, which Florida's not really looking that great this year. Once they got an SEC, but I'm not going to discredit what we did to them. But then to turn around in this game in particular, I get a phone call after the game from my aunt and my cousins who live in northern Alabama. Don't really get to see them as much as I'd love to, but I'm getting a FaceTime. She's 3 years old, by the way, my little cousin is. And I felt loved. I was like, oh my goodness, like she thought of me to call. And so I answered it like all joyfully. Was like, "What's up, Breland?" Didn't even have like on my mind that they were Alabama fans playing baseball and the game just ended. I was like, "What's up, Breland? How you doing? Like it's been so long. I love you." And she was like, "Roll Tide." I was like, "Wow." I
In
was,
call.
yeah, I didn't know how to respond other than like, "Go Big Orange!" Like screw you, dude. She said that, and I was like, "Go Big Orange," and then she said, "Go Chicken Butt." I was like, you know what? I'm done with this phone call. Like, you better answer tomorrow when we win. And credit to them. They actually called me after the game before I even had the chance to call them. So, but no, this one hurt my feelings. But the boys got my back in the series, so it's all good.
Yeah, so just going down real quick to scoring in this game before we move on to game 2. That 2-run shot from Andrew Fisher was in the first inning. Second inning, Cannon Peoples reshot in air, and Reese Chapman scored off of it. Then the top of the 7th inning, Hunter Inslee with a RBI single.
Get hot, kid. By the way, let's talk about
Yes,
him,
yes,
man. Your leader of the team just going off, dude.
yeah, fantastic weekend from him. And then Andrew Fisher with a sac fly later in the inning that Dean Curley scored off of. That rounded out the scoring in this game, and it wasn't quite enough to overcome this win for Alabama. And actually, I accidentally had a 2 spot there in the 9th for Tennessee. That is not supposed to be there. A little bit of technical
It's all
issues on
good.
my part on the background.
You had the total correct. That's all that matters.
Yeah, but let's go ahead to a winning game as game 2, Tennessee rights the ship, 10-7 victory over Alabama. And Marcus Phillips, man, he is having himself a year so far. Just a dominant outing here. It's unfortunate that he didn't get the win in this game. It was a no decision here. But I don't understand in this game and in the next game that we look at, the starting pitcher who had a lead when they came out of the game gets a no decision. So you're the baseball guy here. How do you at what point do you get the win or the loss and not a no decision? Like how long do you have to pitch in the game to be able to get that?
So I believe you have to pitch 5 complete innings.
Gotcha. So he was just a third of an inning short of doing that.
Yes. So I think that's why he didn't get the win. And then it's not really fair to give one person, I think, the save or the win necessarily, because if I'm correct here, several folks came in, including Nate Sneed, Andrew Binky, Tanner Franklin, Dylan Loy. I would have personally probably and that's the reason why you can't give it to Nate Sneed, is because even though he pitched 3 innings, he gave up 4 earned runs. So like you can't really give him the win at that point. And then all the other guys only had like literally 1 out's worth of work. So yeah, I think I agree with the no decision here. If that makes sense to you, Nate Sneed was the only other person that was probably eligible for it, but he gave up more runs than Marcus Phillips did, and Marcus Phillips didn't throw enough to get the win as the starter. So that's why it's no decision here.
Gotcha.
I hope I gave that I hope I explained that correctly.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I guess what it looks like to me is because Dylan Lloyd just threw that third of an inning. He came in at the end of the fifth inning. So
and
because
it's
that
showing me
five,
that
he got the
it's showing
win.
me that he got the win.
Dylan Lloyd got the win in this game because it hit that 5 inning threshold when he was still on the mound. So he got the win. Tanner Franklin got the
Got the
save
save. Okay,
because he was the last guy to get the final out. So
those are like almost two of the pitchers that threw the least, other than Andrew Binky, who threw 2 pitches. But that's
yeah,
okay. No,
yeah,
that's okay. I understand. But overall, man, this game was again Hunter Inslee get hot kid. Like Alabama, the one thing they hated seeing coming was Hunter Inslee to the plate, especially when runners were on base. I mean, this kid was hot, brother. 3 or 4 at the plate. Again, Hunter Inslee's not your home run hitter. I don't think he ever has been. I think though if he gets one, that's amazing. That's what we're talking about here. But Hunter Inslee, as far as a guy that's consistent, this is what you're wanting out of your senior that came back to play another year. 3 or 4 at the plate, 2 RBI, 2 runs. The only thing that I disliked about this game is the fact that we gave Alabama hope. I didn't like that. We need to be able to put them away, especially when you're up. I mean, as much as you were, I think you were up 10-4, maybe going into the bottom of the 8th. And then you give up 3 runs in the bottom 2 innings of the final. But either way, I mean, I'm not mad. It was to even up the series, to get it to the rubber match. I think in both of these games, man, the outfield has just played ridiculous. We didn't talk about the first game, or you had Reese Chapman diving all over the place, making Sports Center top 10. You had Alabama's right fielder pretty much in the game on a robbery home run that was, I think, hit off of Reese Chapman. I don't know.
yeah. I think Reese Chapman did hit that one.
Yeah, so I mean, the outfield gameplay by these two teams were just top notch. I haven't seen that type of play out of an outfield quite some time. As far as just both teams going at it, and it's made getting base hits really hard. I mean, Hunter Inslee coming in center field, making a diving catch, running straight out. It's just all around. I wish the infield would have kind of been able to do the same thing. There were some bright spots in the infield, had a couple double plays, but then there was also some missed opportunities as well. But overall, a 10-7 game 2 on a Friday to even up the series for a rubber match on Saturday, which Saturday was a fun day for any type of SEC fan, as there was just games galore on Saturday for every sport. It was awesome. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, it was. So real quick rundown the scoring of this game
Let's
too.
do it.
Hunter Inslee with a RBI single in the first. Andrew Fisher then followed up with an RBI single. Reese Chapman then reached on a fielder's choice, and Hunter Inslee scored off of it. So all that in the top of the first to score 3. Top of the second inning, you had Jay Abernathy with an RBI single, and then Hunter Inslee followed it up with an RBI single. Move over to the top of the 7th, where Dalton Bargo, who also had himself a weekend, he had an RBI double, and then top of the 8th inning, Dean Curley with a 2-run shot, scoring Ariel Antigua, and then Dalton Bargo with a 2 RBI single with the bases loaded to round out Tennessee's scoring in this game, putting up a 4 spot in the 8th inning. So great game.
I think it was clutch. I mean, you brought it up. Dean Curley getting that home run. It's been a while since he hit one. He started out hot, got 6 home runs probably within the first 3 weeks of the season, and then just kind of fizzed out a little bit. Batting average went down a little bit, but I think Dean Curley getting the home run here, I think really is going to help pole vault, get him back hot, and help be that leadoff batter we know him to be, because Jay Abernathy's pushing for that leadoff spot, bro. Like, he's playing some good ball here lately. So
and forgive me for this, because I did not watch this game. I was watching
unbelievable. You call yourself a Tennessee fan?
I was watching March Madness all day.
Oh, is that what you're doing? Yeah, so you call I'm not going to give you too much crap. I understand. There's baseball, just like me in football, right? Because I don't watch a lick of basketball until football season's over. So I understand the whole, like, not wanting to watch baseball or prioritize it over March Madness. That's completely acceptable. I understand.
Did Gavin Keelan get hurt in game 1?
He did. Hamstring. It wasn't really. I don't think it was even in game 1. I think it was after the midweek. He's kind of. I think it was a hamstring that he's been dealing with. I think he like DH maybe. I don't know. Tony V said that would be the most he does, is like maybe pinch hit or something like that. He is doing okay. I don't think it's like season ending or anything, but yes, he was
Just
not playing.
precautionary, and
Yes, yes.
plus when you got a deep dugout like Tennessee does, you can afford to put somebody else in,
Well,
especially
after the first game, I was like, well, be nice to have him back. I
yeah,
mean,
but, when you got a defensive specialist like Ariel Antigua that can, step in, and then
yeah,
you just move Manny Marin over to second,
yeah.
I mean,
Ariel
you got
Antigua,
what you
by the
need.
way, there was a play where he didn't get the out. I don't know if it was in this game or game one. He backhanded at shortstop after it went. It was kind of like in between third and short, where it's really hard to make a play. So like Dean dove for it, couldn't get it. Ariel Antigua kind of like did some sort of backhand jump Jeter throw if you've ever seen one, and like literally put it on the freaking money, but was like 3 steps late. I'm serious when I say Ariel Antigua maybe one of the best infielders in the country. It's just a shame that we can't get the bats roll. Now, he did have a day at the plate, I think, in game 3.
Yeah,
But if we could get more consistency out of him at the plate, no doubt about it, he's one of the best players in the, and that's why you're seeing Tony V put him out there, even with his offensive struggles. I love the creativity. We're putting Dean Curley at like third, which is perfectly fine with me because he's got the arm for it. Putting Manny Marin at second, put Ariel at short. Overall, I mean, the unit's there, just got to gel. I think we're moving a little bit too much, and that's why we're not seeing the crisp of the double play, as we should. I think that's okay. I think that's growing pains, but I think we're building this defense up to where we're going to be playing right when it really matters, and I'm excited to see it when it all gels together. So
yeah, 100%, man. So let's move ahead to game 3, where Tennessee gets the series win and a
this was nice.
9-2 dominating win. And you think dominating because of what they did at the plate. Yes, but the domination really came on the mound as 2 freshmen in Tegan Coons and then Braden Krenzel.
Remember Tegan Coons, bro? I'm telling you.
Man, Tegan Coons, in my opinion, he deserved to get the win in this game. But once again, because of that 5-inning threshold right there, he
You
did
got to get
not get
5
the
innings.
win. But Tegan Coons in this game went 4 1/3, only gave up 1 hit.
5 strikeouts.
5 strikeouts, 2 walks. He had a perfect game through 3, had a no-hitter through 4. And then
He got in a little bit of trouble though, didn't he? And that's why he got pulled because he only had 71 pitches thrown, or maybe that was just his longest outing of the year. So
yeah,
that's why
I
they.
think it was the longest outing of the year, but also I think he gave up a hit and then a walk, and that's when they brought in Braden Krenzel, who shut Alabama down in that inning, shut him down for the next couple of innings. Obviously, gave up 2 runs there.
He actually got 6 strikeouts and the same amount of innings pitched as Tegan. So I mean, he was really putting in work, kind of like you said, shutting him out, doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, he gave up a run in the 8th and gave up that 1 run in the 9th there. Tennessee got a couple of guys in to face batters. Both of them gave up hits in the 9th, and then Tanner Franklin comes in and shuts the door, getting the strikeout to close out this game. So this game I actually did watch because yesterday there was not a March Madness game I cared about, and it was only 1 game on, I believe. So I did watch this game. I prioritized it
That's what I'm talking
over
about.
March Madness. But
Proud of you.
you mentioned Hunter Ensley just still raking at the plate. Reese Chapman had himself a day. Dalton Bargo, man, he had another day. Dean Curley had a good day, and then Ariel Antigua. I mean, it was really just an all around effort. The only guys that didn't get hits in this game was Jay Abernathy, who I believe that he actually, or no, he did get on base. What happened was, um, on a bunt, he laid it down and he was in the base path there. The new rule with the safety base, you have to stay in foul territory
Yep.
in that runner's lane. And unfortunately, he got over into fair territory. So it was base runner interference called out on the play. And the other one, Cannon Peebles, did not get a hit in this game. He did reach base on a hit by pitch. But
I
Cannon
just say Jay
Peebles,
still scored.
they did.
So
Yeah.
his one chance, his one because he got walked. So his one opportunity on base, he came around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, you had let's see if you want me to go through kind of like you do. The
Yep.
start to scoring up. I think it was in the first. No, it was in the second. Early on in the game, you had Reese Chapman line out, but that was kind of like a sacrifice as Dalton Bargo scored. And then in the third, Fisher homered to right center, which brought in it was a solo shot, doubled the lead, so it was 2-0 at this point. And then in the third, you had Dalton Bargo homer down the right field line. Again, another solo homer. It would be nice to get some folks on base, but that's okay. And then in the fourth, at this point, it's 3-0. In the fourth, Fisher again advances to second. Dean Curley advanced to third, and Ariel Antigua scored on a wild pitch, so no hit there. But that's what happened. Reese Chapman, though, in the fifth, homer to right field, another solo shot. So 3 home runs in this game so far.
And that home run, if I'm not mistaken, they said it was like a 45-degree launch angle on that home run? I mean,
I
that
believe.
ball was towering.
I'm pretty
Up
sure
in the
that was
air.
the video that like just went absolutely viral where he just like I mean, he's skyrocketed. He hit it. Reese, I tell you what, Reese Chapman and Fisher. I mean, you talk about power hitters.
Yep.
They hit the ball hard and long way, but they're not necessarily doing it. They're not as consistent because kind of like Blake. Oh gosh, what is his last
Blake
name?
Burke.
Thank you, Blake Burke. I mean, we remember the struggles Blake Burke went through, but when he did get a hold of it, when he guessed right, that's what I like to call it. When he guessed right, that ball was gone, brother. It wasn't even.
Yeah.
There was no doubt.
I mean, they're not ones that, the ball just sounds different when it comes off the bat like
Yeah.
it did with Blake Burke. Because Burke, when he got one, that ball just sounded
man.
different when it
Oh,
came off the
man.
bat. But they do
I
have
miss him.
insane power.
But at this point, it is 5-0. Then Ariel Antigua in the seventh singles scores Reese Chapman, make it 6-0. And then Hunter Ensley blew the doors open as if it wasn't already when he doubled to left field, clearing the bases, scoring Abernathy, Jay Abernathy, Dean Curley, and Ariel Antigua to make it 9-0. And that did it for the Tennessee scoring. LeBron and Plattner added, some shots there in the eighth and ninth to make it 9-2. But overall, Tennessee really owned this game from start to finish and made a rubber match a lot less anticipated. I mean, once the game started, there was a lot less suspense, I guess, as Tennessee really took control and took the pressure off themselves in getting the series win when they did what they did at the plate. And like you mentioned, defensively, I mean, what a outing by our pitchers. And what's funny and what I love about it is after game two or in the middle of game two, they're throwing up the graphic like, here's the projected starters for tomorrow. And you had, obviously Alabama's projected starter because they knew it. And then for Tennessee's blocks, all they had was question marks. They didn't know who the hell, heck, was pitching for Tennessee. And that's what I think makes this so much sweeter is that Tony V kept everybody on their toes, didn't know who was coming out to pitch, and then turns out to be one of the best outings of the weekend. I loved it. I think we solidified our rotation as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. At least until AJ Russell comes back, because I do feel like when he comes back, if he's healthy, that Sunday spot is his.
I think there's something underlying in that story. I think he went out for an inning or two and something wasn't right. I think at this point, in my opinion, there's something else. And I hate to sound negative, but I just feel like if you're a healthy man, that's one of our best arms. Like, get back in the game. Like, I don't know. It's what baseball players do. And the fact that he's not been makes me think that there is something else they're wanting to be extra cautious about. That's just my humble opinion. I'm not an insider. I have no idea. But I just think if he was 100% healthy, like we've been told he was, there's no reason why he's not in the game yet. It's SEC series, man. There's no time to waste. So
it could be. But Tennessee, they do have a midweek this week against Queens. That is at Lindsey Nelson. And then this weekend,
is Queens a team that we played in the postseason not too long ago?
Not in the postseason, but we played them last year in the regular season as well.
Okay. My fault.
Yep. I think you're thinking of Evansville, the team that we played.
No, I mean, I knew Evansville. I'm just saying, like, Queens just sounded like a very familiar team that we might have played a series with.
Yeah, so we definitely played them last year in the regular season.
Right on.
The next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday contest against South Carolina. That series is at South Carolina. Friday and Saturday night will be on SEC Network Plus, and then Sunday, that game will be on SEC Network.
South Carolina standings wise, are you familiar? Like, how are we looking? What's the preview on South Carolina?
Well, let's see here.
I can possibly look it up real quick, maybe.
I was gonna say I'm pulling it up here now. See, I know they dropped at least one to Arkansas this weekend. Let's see, baseball schedule.
Standings maybe.
So they are 17-8 overall. They're 1-5 in the conference right now. It looks like they got swept by Arkansas this past weekend, and
Okay.
they dropped two of three to Oklahoma in their opening series.
So we need to look. We need to look at sweeping South Carolina. That needs to be the goal this weekend. 100%. Liam Doyle needs to get back on track, knock him out, and then make Marcus Phillips. I mean, Marcus Phillips is. I'm really confident when he gets that Saturday game, and but yeah, all right. So South Carolina, I would say he's probably one of the. I'm not going to say worst opponents, but maybe one of the best matchups we'll have all season because I mean the SEC as a whole has been pretty good. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Now, one thing I will say is, I will not count out South Carolina because they got
You can't. It's baseball.
Former LSU coach Paul Maneri is out there at South Carolina now.
Why would he
So
do that?
I don't know because I'm pretty sure he retired. And
He
then,
did.
matter of fact, I know he did.
I
He
remember
retired
him like
from
crying in the
LSU.
dugout. I thought like he was like, "Oh, this is it. This is my." I don't
Yeah.
know. Whatever.
He stays retired for a year, maybe two, and then he comes back, and now he's at South Carolina. I don't understand it, but here we are.
Whatever.